Faster Fluency Conversation Club podcast. How do you get help and support solving your big problems? Welcome to the Faster Fluency Conversation Club podcast by Business English with Christina. The Faster Fluency Conversation Club takes place on Zoom and is a way for you to improve your fluency and confidence in English by talking about real-world topics. We meet for 1 hour every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we would love you to join us. If you want to practice your English, become more confident, and meet people just like you from all around the world and have guidance from my expert teachers and me, just click the link in the show notes. Our podcast listeners receive a 50% discount on the first month of membership with the discount code FFCC50. Come and join us today. Hey everybody, Christina here for the Faster Fluency Conversation Club podcast. I hope that you are having a lovely month of March. And today I'm here with Christina over in the US. Christina, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing well. Glad that spring is slowly springing, as we might say. That it's getting warmer and the days are getting longer. And yeah, that's just nice, I feel like. So yeah,
That's
doing
very
good.
exciting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, whew, yay. But anyway, so our topic today is, how do you get help and support solving your big problems? And I guess like this could be problems. It could be like personal problems or business or work problems. It could be problems learning a language. So for our listeners, English, for us, maybe other languages. Yeah, I'm just going to ask, how do you get help and support for those kinds of things?
I guess it kind of depends on the type of problem. If I have problems like with my marriage and communication,
Which I think
for
everybody
example,
has at some point. Yeah.
problems with friends or
Yeah.
problems just with life decisions in general, I personally really love to go to the Bible because I feel like it's super practical. There's a
Mm.
lot of information for like life advice there.
Everything. Yeah.
So I tend to go there. Now,
Yeah.
if I have another problem, like a professional problem or maybe a language learning problem, I'll go to people that I know about the subject really well. Like, for example, when I was learning Spanish,
Mm.
I would go to people who were native speakers of that language.
Right.
So that when I'm learning it correctly with no accent.
Right. Yeah, sure.
And then I usually choose people that did not speak English so that I
Right.
was forced to speak Spanish. So that was a big, big help for me.
Yeah, I think that's when I was learning French as well. Like I came over to do like a 1-year study abroad program. And so like we have like the welcome orientation and things like that. And of course it's like you're alone, you're in a different country, you don't know anybody. And there's just like a very natural tendency, for like all the like Americans or British or Australian students to kind of get together and all the Spanish speaking students to get together because it's just easier. But like, and it was nice, but I realized I was like, I've got to get away from these people and like actually go and make that really difficult effort of making friends in a new country, in a new language, if I wanted to reach that goal of learning French during my year of study abroad. So in both of those situations, it's an interesting thing because it's like you're looking for other people to help you. And I guess, I don't know if it was like for you, if it was making friends, but for me, it was like a social situation and getting those people to like help you and support you and you enjoying their friendship. And I think that was really helpful. Yeah. And like, I'm even still friends with some of those people almost 20 years later. And now I feel really old, but that's okay. I was like calculating, it's like, it was almost 20 years ago. Okay. But I'm still like really close friends with some of those people from that time. So yeah.
We moved to Nicaragua in 2006, and that was when I started learning and speaking Spanish. So it's been quite some time for me as well. And I'm definitely still friends with a lot of folks. But it's funny because in the United States here, it's very common to meet a person who has been here 20 or 30 years and they don't speak any English.
Yeah.
And the reason because they do the same thing you mentioned. They just surround themselves because it's comfortable.
Because it's easier and it feels, it's comfortable. Yeah.
They surround themselves with only Spanish speakers, which it's great for camaraderie, for friendship, but definitely doesn't help them learn English.
With exactly. And that's why whenever people say like, oh, I just need to go and move to the country to learn a language, I'm like, that is one option. It can be really great, but it's not a guarantee, and it's not the only way to solve that problem of becoming fluent in a language. Yeah. And I was gonna say, what's something if I've
Like
got
on other levels professionally, I have also
yeah.
asked other teachers for
Mm,
tips, tricks, and advice on teaching certain things. So even
mm.
professionally with our jobs, I feel like we can do that.
Yeah,
Um,
oh yeah. And like there's a lot of just like professional like networking groups or associations. Like I'm on Facebook, I'm in a couple of Facebook groups for trainers, specifically
hmm,
trainers in France. And it's like whenever we have a question or a problem like with the administrative stuff, it's like, "Oh, are you guys having a problem with this thing or I have to do this? Has anyone ever done that?" And it's very supportive just to be able to talk to other people in your maybe your industry to get help from them, because sometimes it's like you're stuck on a problem for like months or weeks or months, and then you just ask somebody and they're like, either it's like, here's what I did, here's a link to an article that explains it, or they can explain what they did, and it just like saves you a lot of time and frustration and energy and all of that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I think it just depends. You look at somebody and say if they have good results, they reach those goals, they have really good results. Well then,
Yeah.
okay, that's the person I want to learn
I want
from.
to talk to that person and find out,
Right.
how did you do it? And I haven't confirmed this yet. I have to look, but I might be going to a conference in May, which is the conference for the International Association of Teachers of English as a Foreign Language. And before COVID, like I went every year. It was like the big conference of the year. And it's just like just from talking to other people who are kind of doing more or less the same thing that you're doing, you can get a lot of ideas for solutions or just different ways of thinking about things. And I just feel like it's something that it's like we know that those kinds of things are important, but it's almost like when do I find the time? But I think it's just like one of those things you have to try to make the time for at least a little bit. Yeah.
Just depends on what your priorities are, really.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay.
Priority, you make the time.
What's that?
If it's a priority, you'll make the time for sure.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a priority, you will make the time for it. Kind of like eating and sleeping. You have to do it. You make the time to do it.
Or exercise. I
Or
need to make
exercise. You can make the time to do that. Exactly. Or just go out and walk around the block and just get the habit started, and then you can build on it. But
Mhm.
yeah. Okie dokie. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Christina, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you later.
Thank you for listening again this week. As a bonus for our listeners, we now offer the transcript of this episode for free so you can read after listening. Our goal is to help you improve all aspects of your English. And when you become a member of the Faster Fluency Conversation Club, each week you also get exercises on grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and more directly connected to the topic of the conversation each week. In addition to the daily speaking practice in the club, you'll also make friends around the world with professionals just like you, so you have fun learning and remember what you learned better. And because you listen to this podcast, you get a 50% discount on your first month of membership. Just use the code FFCC50. And if you'd like to join the club, the link for more details is in the show notes for this podcast. We hope to see you in the club.